crop is harvested. We have to store these potatoes at the desirable temperature so that they'll remain in the chipping condition. And we have an example here. If we store them at too cold a temperature, such as 40 degrees, that they will chip out of that very dark. So growers have to make provisions to store them at a temperature generally about 50, 55 degrees, and that retains them in a chipping condition.
What are you talking about in terms of a storage environment? Temperature is one factor. Are there any others?
Certainly, relative humidity is very important. You need to maintain a high relative humidity, preferably in the 90 to 95%, because moisture is important to prevent them from losing moisture and becoming flabby and soft. Very important, particularly when you get to the slicing operation. Also, ventilation. You need to be able to move air through the pile so that you can maintain a constant temperature and have a fresh supply of oxygen, for example, through the pile. Specific gravity is basically a tool or a measure which we use to determine the dry matter content of potatoes. And it's a very effective one, and there's a good relationship. And for the processing industry, whether it's chip or for frozen processing, but particularly in this case, talking about the chip industry, the specific gravity, which is a measure of the dry matter. For example, it sorts out what percent dry matter we have versus the percentage of water, which is in the different varieties or in the different potatoes. And this is important to the processing operation for two reasons. For example, a potato which has a high dry matter content, first of all, is going to return to the processor a larger number or poundage of processed potato chips. And the other consideration is the fact that during the cooking operation, if we have that high total solids or dry matter, it'll take less time to cook them, because basically in the cooking operation, we're cooking water out of those chips. So if we have less water and higher dry matter, why, the cooking time can be shortened.
Dick, what's this method of specific gravity measurement called?
This particular one is the hydrometer method. And basically it consists of an 8-pound sample of potatoes placed in a special basket and using a special apparatus in water. And then on the column is a graduated scale which reads directly the specific gravity or the percent dry matter which that particular lot of potatoes has. And this is the technique that's used primarily amongst the processing industry as they check lots of potatoes that are brought into the chip plant. This is the way they spot check samples to determine what the specific gravity is. And the technique which we use in our research program is a little bit more precise. Basically, the technique we use here is we're actually getting the weight of these potatoes in air, and then we determine the weight of these same potatoes or sample of potatoes in water. And then by using a formula or a calculation, we can determine exactly what the specific gravity is on that given lot of potatoes. And this particular unit is a little bit more sophisticated than the other technique, and it allows us to be a little bit more accurate because of the varying size of samples which we can operate with.
Dick, in all of your research work and cooperation with the potato chip processing industry, is the ultimate goal here to come up with a high-quality product that customers are going to want to buy?
Certainly, that's the point we start from. The end product is putting a chip out there in the consumer pack which is acceptable, desired by them. And the processor is looking for one a variety which will continually, he can go to a supply of potatoes which are suitable for doing that. And I should point out too that a chip processor is concerned about this year-round, not just during the growing season. So I want to, you have to be important about the storage aspect of it too.
Thanks much, Dr. Dick Chase. He's with the Crops and Soils Department at Michigan State University. For the Cooperative Extension Service and the Agricultural Experiment Station at Michigan State University, I'm Dave Brown.